So I'm on mute. Sorry. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 10K Project. We're the largest community of investors who actively fund Black-owned businesses. The minimum investment is $100, and we invest in something called equity crowdfunding, which is governed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and FINRA. We're going to get started in about 4 minutes here. So I'm just going to get all of my other pages up and running while you all are coming in. Don't forget to put your city and state in the chat so that we can recognize you. Put your city and state in the chat so we can recognize you. Everybody on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, give us a thumbs up, please. Let us know where you are coming from. We're so happy to have everyone here this evening. There we go. So I'm making sure to get all of my other pages up here. So I see people here in YouTube. I see Facebook is in the house. So, and of course, all of my people joining me on Zoom. So glad to see you all this evening. We've got Brooklyn in the house. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the 10K Project. Tonight, we are going to go over some basics. So it's going to be a little bit of back to basics tonight. We're going to do some equity crowdfunding training. I see we've got Queens in the house. We've got Durham, UK. I know it's late there, so we are going to have a good time, hopefully get you excited and energized, all about how you can invest in Black startups and hyper growth companies. So you may be asking yourself, what's a hyper growth company? It's something that I coined like many years ago. I might try to resurrect that term as well, but it's really fast growth companies. So in the VC world, the venture capital world, which we are everyday venture capitalists, shout out to the 10K Project, because we have that as a trademark, home of the everyday VC. VCs consider any company that's growing more than 20% per year as a fast growth company or a high growth company. So we are here to invest and lift up the Black founder, and super excited to do all of that. And I see that my partner and everything is here tonight, Miss Tawana. Hello.
Hello, my darling. Hello, everyone.
How is everyone doing? How are you doing today?
Today has been a good day. Good day. Good day.
Good.
Busy day, but good day.
Good. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it.
How about you?
You know what? This morning I wasn't so sure. But it's amazing how, just a couple hours and knocking a couple of things out on your punch list. And even though I have like 18 other things to do, it's okay. But it's good. So I'm very, it's one of those things where my great grandmother used to always say, I'm happy to be in the land of the living. And some days you're just like, oh, and then you're like, you know what? You have your health, you have your mind, I live in a great place and all of that. So I can't ask for anything more. Everything else is on me to make it happen.
I agree, 100%. Yep.
Yeah. And as you get to the end of the year, I don't know about you, but me, definitely, I get into that really reflective mood. What did I do this year? What did I accomplish? What did I not accomplish? What do I need to do and align in order to set myself up for the best 2022? So yeah. We talked a little bit about that last week with that time management and that productivity and all of that. So definitely. We got Bronx in the house. We have Kevin.
Hi, Miss Vanessa.
Yes, we've got St. Louis, the 314 here on YouTube. We've got Detroit. We've got Orlando. Hey, Latrice, good to see you, my dear. Everybody in YouTube land, please give us a thumbs up. and also share the video. We've got Facebook in the house, and Twitter is doing its thing as well. So we're super excited to see everybody here. So, Tawana, tonight is all about investing in Black startups. This is our time to kind of train some of our new people, retrain those who have been here with us for a while with regards to um, the act of investing in these startups. Uh, First of all, starting with yourself and some of the things you want to think about. And then with regards to the pitches, some of the things that you are looking for and listening for. And I've got that book back there, Startup Wealth. I started reading it. We've gone through some other books and things like that. We've gone over information from the GOAT, the greatest of all time of angel investing. That's what he calls himself, self-proclaimed, not by me, but by him. Jason Calacanis. We've had other people. We've had some Black equity crowdfunders who have invested in, 100+ campaigns. So we've done quite a bit with regards to giving you different types of education from, our point of view as the 10K Project founders, from other Black people who are doing it, as well as other people from, the majority society as well, who are doing this in a professional way. But Tawana, I did want us to kind of go back to basics today, if you wouldn't mind us talking about that. Before I do that, though, I want to open up the line to you, because we have not talked about what the 10K Project is and how people can become members. So maybe we want to do that for anybody who is brand new, who doesn't know what 10K Project is and the benefits of membership and some of the new and interesting things happening with Freeman Capital as well, if you're trying to get your money right in 2022.
Wonderful. So first of all, thank you everyone for joining YouTube here and Zoom and on Facebook and wherever else Cherie has restreamed us. So, so welcome. At the 10K Project, at our core, we are a community. Right? We're a community of investors and entrepreneurs that are coming together to make a difference in each other's lives. Right? That's really how I like to look at us. All the other stuff we do is really extra, but growing this community and allowing the two parties to come together truly is what we want to do and what we're trying to do. And Cheryl says in Zoom here, Cheryl says, is the 10K Project family? We absolutely are. We absolutely are. So what we do is we bring the investor and the entrepreneur together, right? We do that in a few ways. The first way we do that is by highlighting entrepreneurs who have equity crowdfunding campaigns, and we bring those investors to those campaigns. So Cherie always says, we buy Black, why aren't we investing Black, right? And that's what we're doing. We're bringing those two parties together because what we learned is in this equity crowdfunding space, first of all, not many entrepreneurs know about it, so we're educating about that. But not many investors understand how easy it is for them to invest in startups and start to build their portfolios, which ultimately can lead to them growing their wealth, right? And there are no guarantees because these are startups, but building that portfolio is a good way to start building wealth. And so we educate the investors on how to invest in equity crowdfunding campaigns. We also are bringing to the table, our table of education, ways that investors can also grow wealth outside of equity crowdfunding. So we're giving them all of their options, right? This has been the beginning of what I'd like to call the year of masterminds, right? So 2022 for 10K will be the year of masterminds. We already started that this year by buying businesses. So we did a pilot on a mastermind with about 30 of us here in the community. And we are learning how to buy businesses that are already established. They have staff, they have locations, they have processes, they have customers. That's the most important part, right? They have customers. They already have revenue. When you think about all of the baby boomers getting ready to retire, these are business owners. These are entrepreneurs. They worked hard in the businesses, and they don't always have that daughter or son or nephew or niece that wants to take the business over. So what are they doing? They're putting it on the market, right? Already equipped with all of the things that it needs to be successful. We're learning how to buy those businesses. And so we're doing that in the form of a mastermind. I got off the phone today with a woman who we've actually talked to here at 10K before, Tamara Bush, and we're going to do a mastermind on how to buy tax liens, right? So we're taking it that step further, not just introducing you to a course, but taking that deeper dive, going on the journey together on how to really find success in these things that build wealth, right? So 2022 will be the year of masterminds. That's my proclamation. And so, you know, we're ultimately trying to grow wealth by bringing that entrepreneur and that investor together, building community, having a space where once entrepreneurs grow their businesses and scale, guess where they come back when they want to hire? Right here, the 10K Project, right? Right here. And so we have a directory, a professional directory. So whatever skill set you have, don't minimize it, right? Whatever skill set you have, if you are a 10K member, put your information in that directory, because these entrepreneurs will come back here. They may need from an attorney to an assistant, right? You know, from a proofreader to a bookkeeper. So whatever it is your skill set is, please put it in that directory, because it could be a good side gig. It doesn't have to be your main job, right? You may love your main job, but you just may want some disposable income to help you invest, right? As you're investing in the startups. And that's a perfect way to get it. Market yourself for some of these skills that you have. So we've got that. We also, what else are we doing? Goodness, we do so many things here. Oh, we bring a couple of times a month, we bring professionals to you that are doing great things. So they could be in the real estate field. A few weeks ago, Cherie had underrepresented medical professionals talking about that, skilling up, right? That was the conversation. Last week, talked about time management. We've done sessions on marketing from an entrepreneur standpoint to help you be able to, actually did a whole month on marketing. It was called Marketing March, I think is what we called it. And, you know, really just providing resources for the entrepreneur to be able to grow and scale and navigate this whole social media marketing conundrum, right, if I may, and really learning how to navigate it, because it's not as simple as, you know, putting an ad in the newspaper and people coming, or putting, you know, I remember when I was younger, you know, looking at the ads in the magazines was a big deal. Well, now there's this, you know, psychology around marketing. We brought specialists in here to teach you that. From an investment standpoint, educating on alternative investment strategies. So we've had people come and talk about stock options. We've had people come and talk about how to invest in hotels, how to buy hotels. We've had people come and talk about a bunch of things, and it's all with the same goal in mind as building wealth together as a community. And one of the things I know to be true is when we bring people in front of us that look like us, that are experiencing success, and they're not just coming here to brag about it, right? They're actually giving us the roadmap on how to make it happen. Right? So those are some of the things you get out of being a 10K member, some of the things we've done already this year. One of the coolest things we've done this year is, as we talk about investing and being able to have disposable income, we started saying, well, you know, people, because we're all at different points in our journey, right? Some of us have good credit. Some of us are still working on our credit. Some of us have disposable income. Some of us are trying to figure out, how can I get an extra $500 a month to invest? So Cherie and I had this conversation and said, how do we help people get that disposable income? And there were two ways we did that. We were teaching people on what were some good side hustles. Cherie created a document or a presentation around that. I think that's posted in the Knowledge Center on some side hustle ideas, right? So if you want to earn extra income, so that was one way to get disposable income. And then the other way was to really get your finances in order. And so what we did for that is we partnered with Freeman Capital, Black-owned financial planning services company. And they are registered, certified, whatever the right terminology is for financial planners. They have all the credentials, let's just say that. And we partnered with them to offer a special membership package. So our basic membership is $100 lifetime. We call that the gold package. Lifetime membership, it gives you access to everything I just said. And then we have the platinum membership, which gives you access to all of the things I talked about as well. However, it adds in 6 months of financial planning with Freeman Capital. And you have one-on-one session with a financial planner for 6 months, unlimited, as many touch points as you need, right, as you want. So there's not a limit of how many times you can reach out to your financial planner. The cool thing I like about it, based on the feedback that I've received from some of the members who have signed up for it, is you have this real deep dive into mindset change. Like, that's how it starts. So they're not just giving you a budget and telling you to figure it out. Like, they really are getting to the heart of your habits, your behaviors, where you are, where you want to be. Like, they're talking through all of that. There's, kind of homework where you take away and you have some to-dos before you reconnect. And they're really taking this to the next level. Yeah, Cheryl, you need to upgrade to it. You really do. I'm hearing great things about it. And one of our members even told us right before she signed up for it, and it's $347. I forgot to say that. So $347. She said that before she signed up for it, she had just talked to a financial planner and got a consult, and he was going to charge her $4,000 for half the time. So when she saw our special, it was right about the time we came up with our package, and she saw that, she was like, well, that's a no-brainer, because I know how much this costs in the real world, because she had just talked to someone. And so if you are already a member, so you've already paid the $100 lifetime membership, you only pay the difference. So that's $247 you would have to pay, and you get the same 6-month benefit. We actually just talked to Freeman Capital last week, Friday, I believe. Cherie and I had a conversation with them on Thursday. Maybe it was Thursday.
I think it was Thursday.
We talked about the relationship and how it's going, and we both agree it's going good. And the best thing that they said to us that just still makes me light up is they commended our 10K members. So the customers they receive from 10K, they praised how prepared they are. They talked about how ready, like they're ready to jump in and tackle this thing, right? You don't have to convince them that this is necessary. Like, they are ready and they're so prepared, and they're so ahead of the game as it relates to the education piece too. So they said that about all of you who are members of the Platinum Package. So kudos to you guys for making such a good impression and for really being ready to take this journey and make the change. That's what it says to me, is that when you paid that $347, you knew what you were doing and you weren't playing, right? You really were serious about the goals that you've made for yourself. And so that shines through when you talk to your financial planner, because they praised you guys on that. So that's kind of, I talked a lot, I said a lot, but we're doing a lot. I feel like this year we did so much more than even we planned to do, because opportunities just kept coming and coming, like the mastermind, the business buying mastermind. We had a member who was so impressed with what we were doing that she introduced us to someone who buys businesses. We had him come and talk to you guys as a community, and both Cherie and my inboxes blew up after that. Like, you guys wanted more of that. And so we reached out to them, and they came back with a proposal, and it just kind of happened, right? It wasn't one of those things we took 6 months to plan. And it's working very, very nicely, getting really good feedback. I think they're in week 2 of the training and going really, really well.
And one of the big things with the mastermind groups that we are looking to put together is there are a lot of places out there that will just give you a course. Here's a course, go self-study, all of that. There's actually a stat that like 80% of people who buy self-study courses don't even crack them open.
Don't even log in.
And we
guilty of that.
Oh, I'm guilty of that. Like, I'm going to get to that one day, and one day is like never, right? We believe that the best, so first of all, we are hyper focused on individuals who want a well-rounded investment portfolio. So the Bet on Black pitches is just one thing. It is our main thing that we focus on. Finding, uplifting the Black founders, bringing you some of the best Bet on Black pitches that are, well, the best pitches that are out there, right? And bringing them in. But outside of that, you may be asking, well, you know, most businesses focus on one thing. Why are you all doing all of this other stuff? It's because if you are, as individuals and as families, a la family banks, y'all know how I feel about that. If you and your family close enough, start a family bank. Um, if you and your family are financially stable, then that makes the community more financially stable. So that means your credit being right, right? Because that opens up a lot of opportunities for you. That means your debt being under control. That means your income being as high as possible. I received this wonderful email from this woman who said, because of some of the information I brought to the table, she's decided to go for a tech certificate, and she was in the process of getting one in order to increase her income. So we're going to have some more people come next year to talk about that, how to increase your income, how to reduce your debt, how to get your credit together, but also with the mastermind groups, how to invest in things where they actually take you by the hand. And hopefully by the end of the mastermind session, you own an investment with that, because just giving you a course, we feel is not the best way for us to have a permanent effect on your lives. But if during the mastermind course, they teach you how to do it, and then during that process, you're walking through how to find an investment, how to do your due diligence, allow your research on it, how to purchase it, how to add it to your portfolio, add it to your family bank, list of assets, then you're going to be much better, because you can say, I bought that. I bought that as part of the 10K project and the work that we're doing.
Yeah.
So,
And I want to just address Roland. So Roland said after
yes,
the
I saw.
mastermind, okay,
Go
after the
ahead.
mastermind, is it going to be posted? So Roland, this mastermind will be, it's going so well. I think I can spill the beans now because it's going well, unless it tanks towards the end, and I stand,
I don't
you
think
know,
so.
I reserve the right to change my mind, right? But as of today, the business mastermind is going really, really well. There's no reason why there won't be additional cohorts of it. So this is the first cohort. There will be additional, as long as it continues to go well, and as long as they continue to add value to our members, then we will continue it. So it won't be something that we just post in the Knowledge Center. You'll have the opportunity to sign up for the next class. And so after this 9-week, because I think it's 8 weeks, and then they spend the last week actually buying a business. So it ends up being 9 weeks. After this 9-week session, the trainers may want to take a break, and then they'll come back to us with a new date that they want to start the next group up. And so we'll do the same thing we did with this one. We'll bring them back, kind of talk about the highlights and the overview of it, and then we'll let you guys know when the second class will begin. And we'll keep doing that until you tell us it doesn't make sense to do it anymore, right? And then we'll do something similar. Like I said, I talked to someone who does tax liens today and was telling her about the similar model, and she loved it. And so we'll probably do something like that on tax liens as well. So there'll be opportunities for us to really, like Cherie says, learn the thing and then be able to do the thing, and not just, buy the course and maybe you understand it and maybe you've got somebody you can email about it. This is truly hands-on learning, which is much, much better, right? Especially for the
affordable prices too. People come to us. If you were to go out and look for the amount of value that these people deliver within these mastermind cohorts, you would be paying tens of thousands of dollars. And they come to us with a true love of the community and the ability to work with us with regards to the pricing, so that you have money to invest in these things and not just pay that person to teach you. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad Cheryl mentioned topics like NFTs, because that'll bring me to tomorrow night. Also,
Uh-huh.
if there are other things that you want mastermind cohorts around, you can either email me in info at the10kproject.com, or you can put them in the chat here and I will take a look at it. Latrice in YouTube says, as they say now, they understood the assignment. Yes, we did, Latrice. And I do want to let everyone know, how many of you are 1990s people? You watched Living Single back in the day? We have, I'm looking for all my people who watched Living Single. People saying yes. Good, good. Y'all know Pam, not Pam. What did she play?
Maxine.
Maxine. Maxine
Maxine.
Shaw on Living Single. Her real
Maxine
name,
Shaw, attorney at law.
Esquire. That is right. She is coming tomorrow night. I had a wonderful conversation with her about 2.5 weeks ago. Her husband, and their business manager is coming to talk about their NFT that they launched. They were introduced to us by Deidre McIntyre. Thank you very much to Deidre for that introduction. And Erica, one of the first things she said to me is, I'd heard of the 10K project. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. So we're doing big things out there. So Charlotte mentioned the NFT. You can come tomorrow. This isn't a masterclass. This is more of a webinar. But one of the other things that Erica said is she was willing to have a more intimate conversation with us. It is going to be on social media as well. So if you're on YouTube or whatever, you'll see it. But if you want the intimacy and to be able to ask her questions, and if you want to quasi fan out, you can. But, this is a chance for us. The work that they're doing is really to highlight Black and Brown people in graphic novels, and to bring us to the forefront. And there was a company that was on a Bet on Black pitch. I'm not going to say the name of it because you have to be in the membership.
I'm going to say the name. I'm going to say the name.
Okay.
I'm gonna break my own rule and give
She's
some
gonna break her
intel.
own. Look, she's in charge, y'all. She's gonna say the name.
Sahel is the name of the company. They've got a campaign on WeFunder. Amazing graphic design, amazing storyline. We've got to support. We've got to support projects like this because Erica is absolutely right. And when she says in her project is Concrete Park is the name of the project, she's absolutely right. We have to start highlighting and supporting our own. There are a lot of other companies out there that do graphic artistry, and they're, we pay the Hollywood pays them millions and billions of dollars to make movies and all kind of things. And we've got to be able to see ourselves on the screen. And I love that these founders are doing more of that. And what's interesting is the gentleman, Sahel, Dwayne Madry, the interesting thing with him is he'd been working on this for 20 years as a hobby. So he has like 3 of the books already written, like 3 of the 8 books he wants to write, they're already done. And he's been working on this so long as a hobby, he woke up one day and said, I need to do this, right? And so those are the types of founders that we want to highlight. And I just want to go back a little bit, Cherie. You were talking about some of the campaigns. I looked up the numbers. There are 637 active campaigns as of the beginning of this week. Not that many of those are Black, right? A very small percentage. So one of the things that we do for you as a service, right, is we're sourcing through all of those 637 and finding the Black campaigns and bringing you the best of the best, right? And so some of that legwork that it takes, that hours of research, you don't have to do all of that. If you're looking to invest Black, then the 10K project helps you be able to do that. You're still making the decisions, you're still doing the due diligence. We've narrowed the search parameters for you, right? We're bringing you the people who you want to have eyes on versus the whole 637 that may or may not be campaigns or people you care about. So keep that in mind for those of you who are not yet members. When you think about, well, what do I get from $100? Way more than $100 worth
Lot.
of stuff. Way more than all that stuff I
So
kept
many
talking
people have
about.
said to us, we underpriced ourselves
They did.
tremendously.
They did. And we've had many people say you guys need to increase the price. And we said, no,
And the
we may
prices are being
offer
increased
additional
next year.
things, but we promised that we wanted this to be accessible, right?
Mhm.
Right? Because we didn't want just people with a whole lot of money to be able to find ways to make more money. We wanted this to be accessible. So that gold package will be what it's going to be. Now, there may be other packages, right? And there may be other services, but we're always going to have that package around in some shape or form, right? So that you can feel like this is an accessible place for you to not only learn, but to do, right? So, you know, again, I said earlier, we're all at different parts in this journey. And so for those who are at the very beginning trying to figure it all out, we want this to be a place for them too. We don't want this to be a place where they can't come because it's, $1,000 to get in, that just not what we want. We're trying to change families and change lives. And we can do that by thinking of everyone. Again, doesn't mean we won't have other packages, doesn't mean things won't cost. The masterminds will always cost you something. They will not be included, right? So those things will be extra for people who want to pay extra. But all this other basic stuff that we're giving, that we're talking about, that's included in the basic package, right? And it's a ton. You get a lot for $100 lifetime. I mean, we've done so much in this year. It's hard to keep track of it all. It really is. Sometimes I go to Century, somebody to talk to us, and I'm like, wait a minute, I think somebody already talked about that topic this year, right? It's hard to keep track of all the things we've learned about because we've learned so much in just 1 year.
Yeah. So everybody, I put in the Zoom link for tomorrow night. If you all want to come, I saw some people asking about NFTs, mastermind group. So we'll take a look at that as well. There are people that are not only selling NFTs, but there are ways now that you can set up your own NFTs to sell. Somebody else asked about Bitcoin and buying Bitcoin. So we know of quite a few people, but we may bring in Naja or somebody like that from Crypto Plug. I always get the name of it wrong, but
Crypto
Naja's my
blockchain
girl.
plug.
Crypto Blockchain Plug for something like that. But she already has courses set up, and that's what she teaches people how to do. So Cheryl's asking for the Zoom link again. So there you are, Cheryl. And let's move into, unless Tawana, it looked like you're going to say
I
something
was just going
else.
to say one more thing because I don't want to forget. Bet on Black Pitches. We do those every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow is the last one of the year because we're going to take a little break after that. We do the last one of the year. We had a great session last week where we brought back some returning founders. It was an amazing session. The same thing's going to happen tomorrow. Where we're going to bring back some returning founders. I anticipate it is also going to be a wonderful session. And then, like I said, we're going to take a break for the next 2 weeks of the year, for the last 2 weeks of the year. We're going to come back strong. The month of January is already booked. I'm halfway through booking the month of February. So, by the end of this week, I hope to have February booked. And we're coming out the gate strong in 2022. So don't be spending all your money on them Christmas presents because we're coming out the gate strong in January.
Give the
You're going
gift
to want
of
to invest in
equity.
some of these businesses.
Give the gift of equity, everybody. All right, so um, let's start off with, we're going to go back to basics here and talk just again a little bit about how the rich invest, and then we're going to talk about how you do some due diligence and things like that. So, and this is also an opportunity for you to ask questions if you want to put it in the Q&A, or you can raise your hand and we'll just put you on voice so you don't have to be on video, but this is an interactive session. And again, YouTube, Facebook, I'll be able to see all of you as well and answer your questions as well. So the rich, family offices. Family offices, again, are people who have, or families who have about $5 million plus in order to to invest. And these wealthy families will get together and they will pull their money together in order to invest in different types of assets. And about a few months ago, I belonged to another Facebook group, and this was posted about how the family offices are allocating or were allocating their money as late as Q1, quarter one of 2021. And you can see, first of all, the bottom right-hand side, public equities, that's like the stock market. They were putting 25% of their money in there. Real estate was about 27%. So that's, probably owning commercial buildings as well as owning fourplexes, duplexes, et cetera. They had a little bit of their money in cash, some in fixed income, but that 22% down at the bottom says what? It says private equity. And now I want to come here to the chat. What type of investments go into private equity? I'm going to wait for people because I think there's a bit of a lag with Zoom. What types of investments go into private equity? Two big ones we talked about tonight. Startups, yeah, investing in startups, investing in private businesses, equity investments in businesses, perfect. Yes, so investing in startups, investing in growth businesses as we're doing, buying businesses, private equity will do that as well. Pamela's saying VCs, being a VC is just somebody who invests money into private businesses with the hopes of being able to get a return on investment. So I was watching the news. I watch it online. I have some special people that I watch. And, they were talking about labor and how the economic numbers are not looking as good. And one of the things that this specific host, well, there are two hosts, they continuously talk about how labor is getting screwed out of the economic benefits of what's happening right now. And they continuously say, yeah, but these companies, they're buying back their stocks and they're making their stock holders and their investors richer. And every time they say that, and this may sound evil, but this is the way that I'm playing the game. I say you got to play both sides. I don't care if Democrats or Republicans are in office, I'm playing both sides. I want to see the little guy win, but I also understand that there's always a counterbalance. And if we're looking at the stock market, we're looking at these private companies. These private companies have record revenues and record profits, depending on who they are. We want to be in everything. Real estate is at an all-time high. There was a time when a person with a single income could buy a piece of property, and now you practically have to have two incomes, making six figures a year per person, and an 800 credit score to get into some of these properties, if depending on where they're located. So we want to be able to really look at this asset allocation and be able to participate in it all. So y'all like my Snoop example. Snoop, Nas, they participated in a company called Robinhood. They invested in 2014 in a company called Robinhood. And during the time that Robinhood raised, first of all, Robinhood is a financial app if you're not familiar with it. And it was revolutionary at the time because before Robinhood, people would have to pay every time they traded a stock. Shout out if y'all remember Charles Schwab. I had the Charles Schwab account. I had some of the other accounts. And every time you wanted to trade a stock, you needed to pay a fee. And Robinhood took that away. They made it accessible to the everyday person. Now they have millions of people that have Robinhood apps. And Snoop back in the day, 2014, he invested in Robinhood. Well, here's the story, and here's where private equity comes in. So at the time, Snoop got in at 19.54 cents. In 2021, July, they had an IPO, which stands for initial public offering, meaning that they went on the stock market. On the day that they went on the stock market, the stock closed at $34.82. So Snoop got in at 19 cents. And on IPO day, the stock was worth $34.82. Now, we don't know how much of the company Snoop owned, but let's say he owned 100,000 shares. He would have bought in at $20,000, assuming no dilution. His shares would be worth $3.4 million. So that is the power of investing in private equity. And when you're investing in private equity, you can either be an active person in the business, or you can be passive. Somebody put in the chat passive income, because that's where your girl Cherie is now. I have like one primary source, 1.5 primary sources of income that are active. And then everything else I'm looking to do is passive income. So this is the way that we look at investing. And equity crowdfunding is our way with small amounts of money to be able to do this. Because when Snoop got in 2014, you had to be something called an accredited investor, which means you needed to be rich and you needed to be connected to get into these types of investments. When we had Tawana, you remember when we had Vanessa Braxton come in, she talked about the fact that she got in the Coinbase and she got into Facebook. I don't remember if she got in or she was thinking about it, whatever. But do you remember the reason why she was able to get into those stocks early on?
Oh, goodness, no.
It was because she was part of that family office.
Oh, the family
and
office.
the family office received these investment opportunities, and she had a chance to hear the presentation and got the choice to participate. So one of the things that we as a people often don't get is the opportunity to participate. And I think that's one of the great things about the 10K Project, Tawana, is we give our people the opportunity to see some of the greatest businesses that our people have to offer in equity crowdfunding. That's not all private equity, but even with this business buying mastermind, now we have the opportunity to participate with these people who are buying these businesses. We can get in as minority investors. And when I say minority, I mean we own small shares, not because we're Black, but minority investors get passive income and really build a portfolio that way. I'll toss it to you with regards to what your thoughts are.
So I want, I always like to break it down a little more simplistically.
Mm-hmm.
We don't all have $19,540, right? 19 cents or not, we don't all have $19,000 to invest in anything yet, right? So when I break this down to numbers that I can relate to, right? Let's say I wanted 2,000 shares of this. So if I did my 1954 times 2,000, I get $390.80, right? So if I take that $390, let's just keep it round numbers, $390 that I buy for it, but I take that 2,000 shares that it bought me, and I multiply that by the $34.82, $69,640.
Say that number again.
Check my math, y'all, because I'm not the mathematician of this bunch. That's Cherie. But my math says if I bought 2,000 shares, let me do it one more time just to make sure. 2,000 shares at the 0.1954, that's $390.80 I would have paid for it, right?
That's correct. Yes.
So so 390 I paid. My 2,000 shares are now worth, so I multiply that by 34.82, $69,640. My $400 investment would have yielded me 70 grand, y'all. When those numbers are astronomical, as astronomical as Snoop's 3.4 billion, right, or million, right? When the opportunity that I could have flipped $400 into 70,000.
Now, we have to say this will not be all investments. We have to say that this is risky investing. We have to
And Snoop
say
could have
that,
lost everything, and so could we. Absolutely.
yes, we will say that the professional investors recognize that they are building a portfolio of companies. And of that portfolio, I've spoken with several professional investors over the course of me doing what I do professionally. And they all have pretty much the same standard of, for every 10 companies I invest in, 6 of them will fail, 3 of them will just give me my money back or do okay, and 1 of them will do very well. And that's the way that it works. So one of the things that we encourage people to do is to think about investing as a portfolio of companies. Just like they say when you're investing in the stock market, sometimes it's better to invest in an index fund or the S&P 500 versus, investing in one stock and going in all on one stock, right? They just say if you're going to set it and forget it, which I will also say that these tend to be long-term investments that you're putting in here. Um, that you're investing in could take anywhere from 6 to 10 years for a return on investment. You do want to think about having a portfolio, and spreading your portfolio around. So one of the things that I do is, number one, some best practices. I'm going to stop share here as well. Um, I have actually a cap on any single investment. I'm not going to tell you what my number is, but for to keep my portfolio as even as possible, I have a certain amount of money that I put into all of my investments. So that's like one of my best practices. Number two is I try to get a good mixture of companies that are already revenue producing, which we have some companies in the 10K project that already have revenues coming in, versus people who are pure startups. But I'm like, yeah, if this works, if they can do this, this could be like a major thing, and I want to get involved. And then the third thing, and this comes from the professional investors, is professional investors also keep a portion of their money on the side so that when a company does well and they come back to the market in order to raise more money, and they've reached whatever milestone they said they were going to reach that first time, you're able to reinvest in that company so that you're able to double down on that investment. And that's one of the other ways that they secure some of the money that they have, is by doing that. So I see some Q&A, Tawana. I know you have some questions, some comments as well.
Yeah, Cheryl says is an IPO on 10K Project's roadmap. It's nonprofit right now. So Cheryl, we are a for-profit company right now, and an IPO is not on our roadmap.
We have Roland here asking, we also have to be educated on when to sell that investment, because Robinhood shares as of today is $19.65 a share, always diversify. So yeah, so that is true. So I will say for some of these investments, depending on when people got into those types of investments, they may have a lock on their shares. Sometimes with the SEC, they don't want all of the officers selling on every share on day one. So, they'll have a lock on some of those things. But I will also say that sometimes the shares will dip, but if you know, and if you believe in that company, you may hang on to it for, some other reason. Like Robinhood, you may say, you know what? Yeah, their shares of $19.65 today. I'm going to double down on this because I believe that Robinhood is going to be rise like a phoenix from the ashes and be the company that, the majority of people are going to invest through in 5 years. So, I might say, I'm not saying this, please. I'm not saying this. I'm just giving you a mindset of what some investors may say. Some investors may say, therefore, I'm going to double down on this investment. I'm going to buy more. But you're absolutely right, Roland. The other thing, and this is like a level two, that I have been looking at, there are certain companies out there that are also trying to deal with the lack of liquidity issue with regards to these shares that we're purchasing now. So they are lobbying the SEC because there are some SEC laws around this. They are creating the technology. Private markets are going to be about $30 trillion of assets being bought and sold in private markets by the end of this decade. There's a lot of investment going into these problems. I'd love to see a Black-owned company actually get in and focus on solving some of these issues as well with regards to the lack of liquidity, and with regards to getting more people in. Now, the 10K project, what we're doing is we are focused on making some moves so that we can get some money, some big money, in order to do major education within the Black community. So, that's going to be one of the things that we're looking at. And if anybody wants to help us with that in any way, info at the10kproject.com. But I'm also seeing some other questions
Yeah,
here.
so Kevin, I was looking, and I'm sorry I was distracted, but I was looking for something to answer Kevin's question. So Kevin's question says, how much of a percentage of your portfolio should you invest in projects? And so Kevin, it's really not about percentage. The diversification is really about, we created this newsletter for an investment club that I'm in, and that's what I was pulling up because we broke it down very nicely. So it says diversity within asset classes. So that's what you want to focus on. You also want to diversify across markets, and then you want to diversify across time. So it says diversify within an asset class. So don't pull all your money, or don't put all your money in your favorite stocks, such as Apple, or a single piece of waterfront real estate that could be washed away in a storm, right? So you want to diversify within asset classes. Then it says diversify across markets, countries, and currencies all around the world. We live in a global economy, so don't make the mistake of investing solely in your own country. The other diversification tip says diversify across time. You're never going to know the right time to buy anything, but if you keep adding to your investments systematically over months and years, you'll reduce your risk and increase your returns over time. So those were some diversification foundational tips that can help you decide how much of what you want to go where, because every portfolio is unique to us, right? It's your portfolio, it's my portfolio. So my formula is not really your formula, but the philosophy should be the same.
Yeah. So Chris is asking a question. I'm sorry, I'm going to get Cheryl's question and then Chris's question. So Cheryl is asking, what about a financial literacy app? So Tawana, what is the app that Angel Rich has?
So Angel has Credit Rich is her app. So that's one that we've highlighted here. The other one that we have, FindLitX, is one of the companies that recently came and talked to us, and actually Thursday night, they're having a webinar on the 15th. If you're already a 10K member, Cherie put that information in today's newsletter. But they have a financial literacy game. And they're also creating an app. So that's what they're crowdfunding, to change their game into an app. So there are a lot of companies that have financial literacy out there, but Credit Rich is definitely one of them with Angel Rich. And then FindLitX has one that they're coming out with as well. But the one thing that we know is that there's not a shortage on financial literacy apps. A lot of companies have them. You just have to find them. You just have to seek them out, and do your due diligence, right? Make sure you're researching the tips and the advice that they're all giving. The Black-owned ones, those two companies that I just named are Black-owned. So Credit Rich and FindLitX's financial literacy program and their app obviously will be Black-owned.
Yeah. And, I will say one more thing about financial literacy, and that is really looking at where you are in your journey, where you want to be, and how best you learn. So sometimes a financial literacy app is good enough for you because you're really great at self-study. You really know how to, like, once you get in there and you read stuff and you're able to apply it automatically, things like that. If you feel like you need more hand holding, that's okay too. I think that's where you admit it to yourself. I used to be the girl who always, no, I could do self-study of a lot of things if I had the time and the bandwidth or things like that. I just noticed for myself that I actually go through the material and I actually apply it when I'm learning in a small group. So, I say that to other people as well. It is really kind of think about what you need and the best way for you to get that information actually instilled in your life. So Chris is asking the question, and thank you so much, everybody, for putting your questions in the Q&A here. Are you guys planning another campaign pushing the 10K project? Yes. So everybody, I'm gonna tell y'all, in February, we are dropping a special quiz called What Kind of Wealth Builder Are You? Okay, so that's what we're working on now. We've been working on it. I've really heavily worked on it last week. It's going to come out in February. It is going to be fabulous. Some of you may get a sneak peek of it in January just because we want to test it out on a few people. But that is going to be the next major campaign push, is that. And we're looking to connect with some influencers who are hopefully going to highlight it as well. So we're talking about different ways that we're able to pull that together. Beulah is saying, I heard the NYC mayor say today that he to get paid. He will
He's
get
taking a
paid for 3
salary in
months in
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Well,
Yeah,
he's not the first person.
right.
He's not the first mayor. So now these mayors are starting to compete, which, y'all, is super smart. I wish somebody would pay me in Bitcoin, but I'm not paying anybody in Bitcoin. But that's just me. That's just me. Because I believe in the appreciation of Bitcoin. So I'm holding on to my Bitcoin, but do your own research, do your own research.
And come up with your own philosophy, because
Yeah.
other people may not be hodlers, right? There's a
Yes.
whole lot of people who think differently.
Yeah. So NYC
I'm like Cherie, I'm a hodler.
I'm a holder. I only invest in 2 coins, and like I have a little bit of a portfolio of a couple of other things, but that's just because I did that in 2017. But right now, in terms of buying, I'm only buying 2 coins, and that is it. And I am holding. So Beulah's also saying NYC is competing with Miami, and there's a couple other mayors that are doing it too. And then there's Ecuador, I think it is a country that's doing a lot of big things with regards to Bitcoin and getting all of their people on cryptocurrency. So, and then Beulah's saying, what's that? Bitcoin Capital? I think basically people recognize that decentralized finance is like not only the future, it's here. And the people, it's just like Wall Street. For many years, Wall Street was in New York City, right? And then London was the counterpart. Um, right now, I know that Miami, a couple of years ago, they built this huge real estate infrastructure for all sorts of cryptocurrency and decentralized finance companies. So just like you have these tech hubs, you had Silicon Valley, for example, in Sacramento or San Francisco, for many years. These capitals are trying to get together, because if you've got these companies coming in, they usually bring what? They usually bring tech workers, which are highly paid workers, which means that real estate prices go up, which means that the economy is infinitely better, which means, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, for the cities themselves. So the difference is that I don't have to live in New York in order to be a part of that hot startup, because there's Zoom, you know? Um, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, but that's my
You know,
thought
I
on it.
would recommend, so we started several years ago, we started another group called the Black Blockchain Consultants.
Mhm.
It's still a group that lives on the app Discord. I recommend you join that. That, you know, a lot of good information about blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies happening in that group, and it may be a good place for you to learn more about the topic.
Yeah. And I will say as well, I listened to a guy named Anthony Pompliano, which shout out to Eric Spence. Eric Spence introduced us to Anthony Pompliano. And every day he does a daily show on Bitcoin and crypto, as well as other business things. And I really like it. So,
Alicia, I
um,
see you're in here. Can you post the Discord link for me, dear?
uh, Chris is saying here, how do you guys feel about investing in cryptocurrency? I think we already said that in the pre-sale stage of a coin. Um, So when we were doing Black Blockchain Consultants, we really learned to look at the project itself, and does the project merit having a cryptocurrency in it? And how big do you think the community can actually get? Because you need both of those things in order for a cryptocurrency to actually do well. There needs to be a reason for it, and there needs to be adoption of it. So that is my lesson. Talisha is probably like one of the better people to go to, but y'all have to pay her for her time to give you any more than that. But
Thank you,
Talisha
Felicia.
also just put in the Discord group. So if you all ask questions in Discord, depending on how nice she is, she'll respond. Um, and Talisha's saying I can do a session for the 10K project. Talisha, we may turn that into a mastermind session too. So we'll talk about it. Beulah is
He
saying,
and I just talked about that the other day.
I think y'all might have to pay Talisha to come in and do a session on this stuff. Beulah is saying, I saw a young African-American teenager got into NFT. There are a whole bunch of them that are doing it. She sold her digital art for $2+ million. What is an NFT? NFT stands for non-fungible token. And the way that it works is you are able to set up um, oftentimes it's like a real life asset that you then digitize, and you're able to sell that as a token. There are other people that are selling their art, their digital art, but usually there's an underlying asset that's underneath that token itself. And the whole idea is you're able to buy it, you're able to either hang on to it or trade it. Some of the time you are purchasing these as part of a community. So you'll hear about DAOs, DAO. There's like a whole subculture with regards to this. And a lot of that, like I'll admit, I know the surface level of it. I don't know it well enough. So we would definitely want to bring in somebody who can really break down what's happening here.
Yeah,
I
and
do
actually,
have,
I was going to just say, Beulah, tomorrow
Mhm.
would be a good session for you to attend when we have Erica Alexander on. She'll talk a little bit about what it is and explain, obviously, her project. But we will be talking more about it. Again, Talisha and I did talk actually on Sunday about this topic, and so you know that is something that we definitely want to bring and take a deeper dive for you guys, because it is between NFTs and that whole DeFi, like that's the next big thing in this space, and,
yes, it
and we
is.
don't want you guys to be left behind.
Right. The one caution I will give about NFTs is be careful what you're buying, because there are a lot of NFTs that I'm seeing out here now that I'm not sure is going to be as valuable as it was purchased at initially. So I'm not telling you not to get into the game and not to participate. What I am telling you is um, there is a lot of hype. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of newness within NFTs, and just watch yourself. I'll give you a great example. Elon Musk. Elon Musk says a whole lot of stuff on Twitter, gets people riled up, and next thing you know, he's selling his whatever. This is why um, I don't make my investment decisions based on any celebrity investor, Gary V, any of these guys. You can listen to them. You can say, oh, what's happening over there? But do more research. Kevin Stewart is right. Don't fall in for the pump and dump. A few years ago, there were a lot of our celebrities that started getting in trouble with the SEC because they were being paid to pump up these ICOs, that stands for initial coin offerings. People were buying into these things, and next thing you know, they went to zero because there was no real project behind it, which is why the SEC got involved with the initial coin offering market. And a lot of times we hate the government, we hate the SEC, but that's one of the reasons why with equity crowdfunding, we appreciate the fact that the SEC also at least reviews the paperwork of the companies that's coming onto the Bet on Black pitches. So it's not just Tawana and I, even though Tawana does some research, you should do your own research, but we also have the government as well, looking up certain things and just making sure that those companies at least have paperwork.
Yeah, in that space, one of the things that is mandatory is that the entrepreneurs go through what's called bad actor checks, so they get thorough background checks done on them. That still doesn't say that the project will be successful, right? That's not what vetting means, right? Because you don't know if the project's going to be successful. That's the risk, right? That's the risk with investing. But it does tell you that the people running the project have a good track record. There's nothing shady in their background, that they do have a legitimate business. They do have a legitimate project. Again, not speaking to the success and or failure of said project, but that it does exist and appears to be legitimate. Like that's the extent of the SEC's kind of search and vetting. And mine goes just maybe a smidge deeper than that, right? Because I'm also looking at competitor market a little bit to see, is this something I would add to my portfolio? And looking at industry and trying to kind of diversify the 10K presentation as if it was a portfolio, right? So, just thinking about that, but ultimately it is your responsibility to do your own due diligence for all of these. Neither the SEC nor 10K is responsible for a company that you choose to invest in.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'll give like what I do. I never invest more than I can afford to lose or would be upset about or would lose sleep over in any single company. And I never, like right now with NFTs, if I'm buying something, it is just for the experience of buying it and not because I think I'm going to be a gazillionaire from it or I'm looking for it to increase in like significant value. It is either something that I want to support that person who has started the NFT, or I just want the experience of buying it so that when I am ready to make a move, it's not my first time buying an NFT. Now, this is again, my way of doing it. You have to come up with your own rules.
And I'll say from an NFT art standpoint, it's art, right? So how would you select any other artwork that you might be interested in? So that's another way to think about it, right? If it's music, right? So think about it from a standpoint of the thing and the value you put on that thing. But Cherie's right. You have to come up with your own philosophy on these things. No one can tell you, these are all investments, and no one can tell you what to invest in. You have to make that decision for yourself.
Yeah. And Kevin made a good point that some of you are only posting to hosts and panelists instead of everyone. So people are not seeing like all of the comments that we're getting here. But I will read some that have come over um, here. So we were told, so Cheryl, first of all, put in for everyone, Anthony Pompliano on YouTube, yes. Pamela put on here that Republic acquired Cedars for $100 million. So consolidation is going to happen in the field. We're not surprised by that. Shirley's asking if we're on Clubhouse. So here's the joke. I don't like Clubhouse. Doesn't mean as a company we have not thought about doing it, but we decided to, because we have a strong but small team, to get laser focused.
Very small.
Yes, there are 4 of us and we're all part-time. So we decided to get laser focused on a couple of things that can really give us the greatest ROI. So then we can have more people come on who can help us expand the message. So the answer to the Clubhouse thing is no. Unless you want to own that, Cheryl, then, surely we'll take a look at it. Metaverse seems to be moving to into the virtual reality space. So much going on. That is correct. Kevin is saying don't fall for the pump and dump. Floyd Mayweather, DJ Khaled, yeah, they got caught up in those SEC, issues. So you don't want that. Shirley saying, Cherie, it makes it that much more confusing. Thanks for the call out. I forgot what I was saying then, but you're welcome. Kevin is saying buy some NFTs, sell to get your additional money back, then hold rest. Oh, then hold the rest. Okay, that's Kevin's strategy. That makes sense to me. Kevin, let's see here. It's saying SEC Secretary Gensler taught blockchain and cryptocurrency at MIT. Regulation will come soon. It's already here. It's here. So if any of you are like paralegals or lawyers, this is going to be a phenomenally fast-growing area of the law. So definitely take a look at that. If you're doing accounting of any type and you understand crypto and the accounting laws of crypto, there are big companies now that are adding crypto to its balance sheets and things like that. So, and these big companies are going to start getting smaller and smaller. So you definitely want to be up to speed with regards to that. So Cheryl is saying she loves the transparency. Okay, we have 2 more questions here, and then I'm going to go into YouTube, make sure no one has questions there, and we will call it a night. So Cheryl is asking, are you looking to get connected to diverse-owned business accelerators? Do you see a fit for a community of diverse-owned business owners? All right, so Cheryl, great question, first of all. We are open to speaking to diverse-owned business accelerators. However, we are not straying from the mission of the Bet on Black pitch being focused on Black founders. So we are open to everybody. We have investors from different races, different ethnicities that are part of the investor community. We are reaching out to different investors who want to have diverse founders that they're investing in. But the Bet on Black pitches are for Black founders. Anything else, Tawana, with that?
Nope, that's it. And there are reasons for that, right? Other ethnicities get funding and Black founders still struggle. And so we choose to focus on Black founders. Will we one day open it up beyond that?
Yeah, so Pamela is saying the accelerators are the step most Black founders need to take. So we understand that. We have connections with individuals and organizations that we refer people to. as well. Because of, again, y'all know I'm a business plan writer, so I speak to a lot of different companies. I speak to people all the time who are like, I have a dream, but I don't have any money. I'm not sure where to start, things like that. So that is kind of our way of figuring out where people belong and kind of guiding them in the right way. Um, Beulah is saying here, I want to get into generational wealth. I want to buy back family property. It will be an Airbnb, barbecue, and urgent care. Oof.
Okay,
Have
very
any
specific. So Beulah,
suggestions?
Beulah's got a plan already. That's very
I
specific.
love it. Have any suggestions? I want to work with the SBA. How do I do that? I do not have finance to go back to purchase the property. Suggestions. Okay. Um, so my first suggestion to you is to figure out like a real budget of how much you need. Okay. The second suggestion for you with regards to the SBA is if you need under $50,000, then there is a program through the Small Business Development Centers. Um, it's a They have a small business loan program through the Small Business Development Centers, and you are able to, with a business plan, you're able to go to them and request funding. It's called a microloan program. You're able to go to them, request funding. I know people with terrible credit who have gotten these microloans up to $50,000. Looks to me like you're gonna need more if you're trying to do urgent care, barbecue. The Airbnb, you probably could do that. You might want to start off with one thing as well, and then like move to the other things as you start cash flowing. If you need more than $50,000, you're going to have to go to a bank. So nobody can just walk up to the SBA and say, hey, I need $200,000, here's my loan application. It doesn't work that way. So the way that it works is you go to a bank. The bank basically looks at your credit, they look at your debt to income ratio, they look at your collateral, which for you, the family property could be the collateral. They look to make sure that you have some money down. So with property, it needs to be 10%, depending on the SBA program, sometimes 20, but usually with property, you can get in for 10%. And then they also look at your debt to income ratio, and they decide if they're willing to approve your loan. And then if the bank says yes, what they do is they send it to the SBA, and the SBA does something called guaranteeing the loan. So that is the process with the SBA. My first suggestion to you is to create that budget so you know how much you need. And then if it's under 50,000, go to the Small Business Development Center. Over 50,000, talk to a bank about it, see what they're able to do, have them pull your credit, all of that good stuff. And then if that doesn't work, then you're going to need to find private investors, which may be pulling other family members together in order for you all to pull your money together in order to buy your family property back. So that's the short answer for that. Let me just shoot
Pamela
you
said,
to, go
Pamela
ahead.
said that she was just thinking connecting the members to the accelerators would be a great idea, not that we become an accelerator. Pamela, that's a good idea. And we actually have been curating a list of accelerator programs and incubator programs for about a year and a half now. We've got a pretty good list going. And that's always something that we even today refer entrepreneurs to from time to time if they're needing that level of hand holding and really looking for business nurturing in the way that those organizations do. But that's a very good suggestion. Maybe we do need to leverage that list a little bit more than we have been.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
So that is our discussion for today. Tomorrow is Erica Alexander coming in order to talk
Erica's at
about
6.
the NFT. She's coming at 6. And then at 8 o'clock, we are going to have our last Bet on Black pitch for 2021. We have 3 different founders who are coming back. But just because you may have heard them before, they're going to come back with new information, what they've been up to. You can give the gift of equity. And then next Monday, we have our member highlight and the conversation. We have a couple members who suggested us talk about creating a well-being plan for 2022, as well as an income plan. So health, wealth, strategizing for 2022 is going to be next week's session. Someone's asking, do we need volunteers? Always. You can email me info@the10kproject.com. And Beulah's asking, how do I get in
I'm gonna post the
tomorrow?
link again. Hold on. I see you put
Yeah.
it up here. I'm gonna copy it and put it down here again.
Yeah, just make sure it's going to everyone.
Yeah. So Beulah, I just put the link again to the webinar. Beulah, if you are a 10K member, you would have received an email about it also. Today, I believe that came out. If you are not a
And I
member,
think I sent one on Friday too.
okay. And if you're not a member yet, then this link should work to register. You do not have to be a member for this particular session. But I will tell you, $100 lifetime, kind of worth it. I think tonight was worth $27.50. So you already part of the way there.
Absolutely. So anything else, Alana, before we go?
No, this is go good. Beulah, so Wayne said I got both the emails. Perfect.
Fantastic.
No, just, thank you guys. Really, thank you. As Cherie and I are rounding out this year. It's been a wonderful year, and it's only been that way because of you guys. This community is wonderful. Even tonight, asking if we need volunteers, offering to help. That's the spirit of the 10K community all the time. And so it's just so appreciated. It really, really is. And we do this because we know that getting to that generational wealth that Cheryl talks about is more than just saying we want it, right? It takes a plan, it takes a strategy, and we hope that everything we're bringing to you guys and all of the people that we're bringing and exposing you to, we hope that those things help you build your strategy for how you get to generational wealth, because strategy is going to be different for all of us. Just like we talked about the strategy with crypto and the strategy with portfolios. We're all going to get there. We just might get there different ways, and that's okay. And so we're trying to bring a lot of things to you because we're all at different points in this journey, and what's going to pique Cherie's interest is not going to pique mine, right? And so we want to give you enough options so that you can choose from. So even with all of the stuff I talked about that we're going to be trying to do for 2022 and doing in 2021, don't feel overwhelmed by it, right? You don't have to do it all. You just have to find your thing in the list of things that we're doing, right? And so we wish you luck on this journey as you go through it with us, and we're going to do as much as we can to help you along the way. But as Cherie always says, even passive income requires work. So remember that we've got to do our part, right? The exposure is one thing, right? The seat at the table is one thing, but what are you going to do to make it happen?
And Pamela had a great suggestion, a 15-minute volunteers meeting. So we will add that to the list. We will definitely add that to the list. So, and we thank everyone. I saw everyone who said thank you so much to us. We are leveraging each other. We need each other. We love each other. And we appreciate all of you as much as you appreciate us. So with that, I'm gonna let everyone else, let everyone enjoy their Monday evening, and we'll see you tomorrow night, 6 p.m. for Erica Alexander.
And then again at 8 for the Bet on Black Pitch.
And then again at 8 for the Bet on Black Pitch. Take care.